It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come and join us for another ride in the team bus. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. And we might just sprinkle in some other shiny pop cultural objects along the way. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez! Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. I'm Matt and this is my brother Justin, and today on the bus we're talking bike racing, sadly for the last time this year, as the season closed out over the weekend with racing in Holland, Italy, Andorra, and of course China. And in keeping with the overall theme of the 2025 season, we got some seriously predictable finishes, a neutralized stage in a stage race, and one or two small surprises. I am excited to touch on the Andorra Cycling Masters race, a first of its kind event which took place this past weekend as well, that saw four superstars of professional cycling representing the current pro peloton's older, current, and new guard go head-to-head, with the winner being perhaps the biggest surprise of all this week. So there's lots to discuss, and we'll have to cherish it because it's the last new racing we'll get to discuss this year. As always, we're finishing out this week with more end-of-season adventures in the Broom Wagon. Allez! Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. So glad to have you with us for this final episode of, not of the season, of our season, but of the season, because everything wrapped up this past weekend, and we're gonna get into it all, starting with the Tour of Holland. I think we were very, very happy with the outcome of this race, you and I. Let's get into it. We started off on Tuesday with a short little prologue, one, no surprise, by Ethan Hayter of Soudal Quickstep. It was at night. Like, wow. You do not see that very often.
No.
Full blown like night stage.
And I typically am not much for a prologue. Like, I find them to be pretty meh in general. Mm-hmm. So at least
and this one was pretty meh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exciting how close the finish was, but as for just like the watching,
yeah,
just guys riding through the middle of the city in the dark, like through a tight little track. Like, I mean, yeah. But you know, leave it to the Netherlands to just like have no problem just like constructing this little course like right through the middle of the downtown, like, you know, easy peasy.
Yeah,
little TT course right in the middle of downtown. And
I bet it was damn cool for the fans.
Absolutely. And Hayter won by 1 second. To be expected on such a short, I mean, maybe not by 0.33 seconds, but on a very short course like that, of course, you know, you're going to have very tight time differentials, but 0.33 seconds is crazy. That was exciting at the end there. And did you notice that at one point some dude crashed? Can you imagine? It'd be embarrassing as hell at night on some little flat ass, you know, downtown course. You're all by yourself and you crash. So embarrassing.
I did not see the crash.
Yeah. So we got into it proper on Wednesday with stage one, a flat sprint stage in the gorgeous town of Dordrecht, or maybe that was the starting town. I had a note there about that. And I texted you about this earlier this week. Let's talk about the drone shot in the pre-race package, because come on, man.
That thing was crazy.
Tell us about it.
I feel like as these drone shots get better, and like, it's not like something you haven't seen before, but what I marvel at is I don't know if they have to be speeding it up slightly, right? It can't be going that fast. And if it is going that fast, like,
wow,
those guys are awesome with that, because like, there's no way you have line of sight on that drone. Like, you have to be basing it off what you're seeing on the camera, which is insane to me. To like,
you know, this is getting me in mind of conversation we just had before we came on air just now. I sent you that
Mhm.
podcast about the whatever that term was that I
Machinima.
already, yeah, machinima. That same I need to just say you just need to listen to the entire series. That was like episode 4 in a series on gaming that's part of this design podcast, 99% Invisible. Well, there was another one about how video gaming is affecting the military because all the military drone stuff, it's all controlled by video game controllers now.
Yes.
It's dudes sitting in rooms with video game controllers, just like they've been used to playing for the past like 15 years, since they were young children. They absolutely get into the design of the controller. It's like once they finally hit on the perfect design, it basically hasn't changed. It's like the two joysticks pointed at the angle, exactly ergonomic for the human hands. And like, you know,
Yeah.
he goes through each step of the innovation too, from like every time they added a new button someplace or a new piece of functionality. You'll really love it. um, but yeah, this drone shot, it's flying around outside of some cathedral. It swoops down low, it goes straight in the front door of the cathedral, pops it right in the middle of the nave. It does a big wide circle like around the big part of the nave, and then it comes back towards the front wall that you just came in underneath through that front door. There's a there's the pipe organ against the back there, but there's a candelabra fixture like hanging there, like this giant iron glass, like massive thing hanging there, and it's probably what 10 feet away from the pipes of the pipe organ
Oh, it's
off that wall.
yeah.
And this
If
drone
that.
just like whips up in the air and goes right behind that thing, like just like right next to the pipe organs pipes right around the same. I mean, that guy's off by 2 or 3 feet right there, and you got a you got like 1,000 pound light fixture falling onto the floor of the church.
So the thing that I wonder too about it is, and I don't want to get off on a tangent, but like the convincing to like let you do that in a centuries old cathedral and like oh
It's all
yeah,
about
don't
it's all
worry,
about
he's
promotion.
he's not gonna hit anything, don't worry about it. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
we
yeah.
were
But it's
it's
like
another thing we were talking about off mic before we started, is like Andorra and the way that they're doing this thing to promote
right.
the country, and the lengths that these municipalities and cities and towns will go to promote their stuff. It's just like, yeah, sky's the limit, guys. Promote the heck out of this thing. You want to run
But I
drones
mean,
through the local
you want to talk
cathedral, knock
about
yourself out.
a 30 seconds that barely probably anybody saw,
I know, and
and
it was so great.
you know because like I missed it the first time because I typically especially when I'm like trying to get caught up on racing, I don't watch the beginning stuff.
Hmm,
I just
hmm.
I jump into like the last 30K of it and try to pick up what I can, but it's like holy moly, man, like what a badass like way to show. It's like, and by the way, why can't we get drone footage that's that good in a race? Come on.
Yeah. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
come on.
It comes around the backside of the thing, and then it swoops down low. And then it goes like through the sacristy and like straight out the back of the church through the open door in the back, and then it's bam, it's out in like this beautiful little like stone
Yeah,
paved lane, behind this. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. That put me in mind of something, when you said if you're trying to get caught up on races, you don't watch the beginning stuff. What I have found is like, and I guess this is a little inside baseball for the listeners or whatever in terms of like how I prep. But what I've found is like for each, stage, for each race or whatever, I know that I'm going to want to have, 10, somewhere between 5 and 15 to 20, bullet points, notes, just individual notes. And it, I feel like I've cultivated an ability to just like turn on the race at any point, start watching, and the notes will pour out. So I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna watch, like, for some of these lesser races or for stage 3 of the Tour of Holland. Like, I'll go and I'll watch 5 minutes of the opening part because I'll catch some stuff and I'll make some notes. And then when we get onto the show, it'll sound like I watched the whole damn thing because I'm commenting for the. But then I'll jump ahead, 80 kilometers,
Right.
and then play for like 5 minutes, and I'll kind of get a sense of what's going on in the race, and boom, I'm typing out notes, and it's like, I can dip in for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, and then catch like 10 minutes at the finish, and then like I'm good. Stage done. I spent 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. And
Um,
I really like picking it up somewhere, even if it's a sprint stage, picking it up within 20, like around 20 kilometers or between 20 and 30, depending, just to get a sense of what's going on. And obviously, like, a lot of stuff happens in the last, like, 15K of most, especially flatter stage races. Unless Tadej Pogacar's in which case he's already off and gone on an
I mean,
80
I wouldn't say
kilometer.
a lot of stuff happens in the last 15K on a flat sprint stage. A lot of times it's literally just the peloton riding as a group in the front for the last like 15Ks of the race until
Yeah,
they
but
get to the sprint. Nothing
you
happens.
get a Danny Van Poppel. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
you
All
get some
right.
guys popping off the front and stuff, but I get what you're saying. Let's get into this thing. So first of all, Tim Merlier's back in his team kit and it's bizarre.
Thank you. I did make a note of it too.
so, so funny. Finish line of this. We got a Red Bull kilometer in this thing, and the finish line is on the bridge, which is very cool. I thought, although the for the live shot they were pushed in too close to really even tell that it was on a bridge, you know.
Yeah.
But when you caught some of the other angles, you could see quite clearly that they were finishing right in the middle of a bridge. And I thought that was super cool.
Perfect place for a drone.
Yeah, and they got so going into like 1.5K to go. Lisa Bike is giving Olaf Koy an incredible lead out. They've got Lema, Vermont, and Laporte, but it completely dissolved. Um, yeah, they were just looking perfect, and then all of a sudden it was just like yellow guy here, yellow guy here, yellow guy here. Like they're just
Yeah, they just got completely.
completely apart, and and
For what? For
Laporte, bless him, he gets back
yeah,
he gets back to Olaf Koy and is like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, wow,
he looks so good too.
so good.
Like, you know, I think I said maybe last week or the week before, like I could totally see him being, utilized as a lead out guy for Brennan. Or I mean, obviously Coy's gone, so it'll be Brennan is who he's leading out. And oof.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Dan McClay is done. Dan McClay is retiring.
Really?
So yeah,
Was he older?
yeah, he's older.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's been plagued with some injury all season, but
Hmm.
so I could definitely see Laporte being part of that train because Laporte doesn't make as even though he was in the both I believe both iterations of the Tour win for Visma, 3 and 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he really makes sense with the current roster to be on that team or not, like on that set of riders. So putting him with the sprinters and the classics guys like
Yes,
makes all the
100%.
sense in the world. And
Yeah, yeah,
he seems to be more like I don't know if it's just that his form is really good right now, but he seems to be more comfortable on the bike than I've seen him since probably when he won the European Championship. I mean,
yeah.
it's
To
been
me,
that long.
he is back to the Christoph of old.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
totally agree.
He is in there. He's mixing it. He is making a difference in nearly every race that he's in. Um, he understands tactics really well. He is a wily veteran, a seasoned veteran, um, who has paid his dues in terms of this illness that he's fought this year. He's put it behind him and he's ready to get himself back to where he
It
knows
just
that he
sucks
can
that
be
it
and he's
came so
doing it.
late in the season.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also not a bad thing to go out of the season on a high.
No, not at
You
all.
know what I mean?
Not at all. Not at all. So it
Um,
comes down to Merlier and Coy in the end, and Tim
and
Merlier.
Coy getting a perfect lead out
Oh yeah.
from Christoph.
I mean, again, as we've said, how many is it? 16 times this year. Merlier is just if he gets the space, man, he's got it. Man, the guy just is unstoppable this year, and he has been way better than Coy this year. So it doesn't surprise me in the least that he was able to pull out the win. But that makes 16 for him on the year. It's crazy. Great year for him.
Yeah, Coy did not get a lot of wins this year. In
I believe
fact,
it's like 10 or 11.
there's there were two riders that I was quite surprised with the number of wins they got that year, and that was Olav Koy and Remco Evenepoel, who in terms of like raw numbers of wins, did not get very many. He got some big ones,
Mm-hmm.
but he did not get very many.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh,
So,
Merlier, Pips, Coy, DeLee completely gassed. I think his season was already over a week ago because he closed strong, but like he was he was there, but you could just see him just die like 10 meters before the finish line.
well, let's be also honest. The Delee's wins did not come against Olav Koy and Tim Merlier, and he is not in that league. I mean, he's a great
Mm-mm.
rider, but he is not of that caliber right now.
Nope, nope. So as we move forward here, let's make note of something that will become a larger and larger topic as our podcast continues today. So with this win, Sudal makes it 2 for 2 in this race because Ethan Hayter
Yes.
won the prologue. So Sudal has now won the first 2 stages of the race. We'll leave that there. Let's move on to stage 2, which is actually the third, day of the race. And lo and behold, Sudal makes it 3 of 3 with another win by Ethan Hayter. Now, first of all, 1 week stage race, you start with a TT prologue, and then stage 2 is another TT. Like, come on,
This
guys,
made zero
enough
sense to me.
Like, yeah,
Zero. When I turned it on, I didn't even realize it was a time trial, and I saw like the little card over it, and I was like, "Is this a time trial?" Click. I was like, "You got to be kidding me."
yeah.
I remember watching it at work. Laporte's pretty much in the hot seat the whole time
Yeah.
until Hayter and Soderquist are get on the course, and then it just seemingly it's like it's going to be very close between and uh, Laporte and Hayter, and of course Hayter's got the bigger, younger, stronger engine, and he ends up taking the win.
That is true. Yeah, Sadal making it 3 of 3. Hayter making it 2 of 2. Takes the leader's jersey. Very impressive. He beats Laporte by 15 seconds. Does a negative split, I think, because Laporte was up on him at the time check.
But then he came roaring back.
Right, right. And a couple of post-race notes. One, I like how they had like that Van Gogh impersonator there. I
That
guess it
was
must
wild.
have Van Gogh's
Well,
hometown again.
what was really cool was the fact that was there, in that it was so close to like the hot seat that it kept getting camera time, and during a time trial, there's not a fucking lot to watch.
Right, right, right.
So,
Well, and seeing a Van Gogh impersonator is close to my heart because take a look right here. You see this? This looks like Vince Van Gogh right here. So I could be a Van Gogh
are you
impersonator with a
saying
little red.
You could
a little
play
red.
Vincent Van Gogh?
Yes, I could. And then just real quick, Hayter's interview. That guy's boring. Like he says nothing. He literally just repeats the question back. He was horrible. They got to work on that guy's press. He needs to spend some time with Tom Pidcock.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then here it is, stage 3, stage canceled. Did you dig into all this?
Yeah, so there was a lack of police presence, which will lead to a lack of roads being blocked off. And despite their best efforts with volunteers, it was a disaster. And they eventually, the commissaires, and the riders got together and decided that it was not fit for racing, the situation, which is kind of ironic in such a bike heavy area that like they couldn't
It's
pull that
funny.
together.
Well, it's like they're in a way they were like a victim of their own success here because very often they are they are able to manage these races with an army of volunteers, and they the plan was for the first 100 kilometers of the race to be done without any police presence, just with volunteers, in each of those little towns along the way, like, going down to the Home Depot and getting some yellow tape and stretching it across the roads, and
what doesn't work about that is people don't care when it's Joe and Susie. They care when it's Officer so and so.
Exactly. And they also don't care as much when like they're trying to do work on their farm and they're driving their giant farm vehicle and some guy's like, mister, there's about to be a bike race coming through here in 45 minutes. You can't come on the road. And he's like, yeah, we'll see about that. And like
Yeah.
takes off. Cast your mind back to the Étoile de Bessèges earlier this year. The same crap was going on
Yes.
back then. And it's like,
I
I guess
also,
it's
not to defend the problem of it, but I mean that's also a significantly smaller race with, I'm sure, a significantly smaller budget. What I don't
then what?
what I don't understand is
Then Tour of
was
Holland.
yes. What I don't understand is why you would think that you could pull it off with no police.
Because they probably have been pulling it off with no police.
Yeah.
Because they're small races, and it's not a giant Tour de France sized convoy that's going to come rolling through there. So you got a little small town. Maybe all you need is 20 volunteers to go and man up at the the four road crossings that they go across when they're coming through your town, and
Right. That's true.
you go through these like really rural areas, and with a little proper planning, you can stay clear of anywhere that might have more major roads or whatever. All right, let's move on. Stage four. This was the Queen stage, right? Yeah.
Yes.
The this big famous climb, right? This is the climb where Laporte won 2 years ago to become European champion. I can't remember the name of it.
Yes.
Um,
And then it
I
and it has
love
that like crazy cobbled end that's amazing.
Yes. It's like a climb that's on a hill that's wide open. There's like no trees there or whatever, and it's just like this road that's meandering up this hill. And at one point, you hit a whole bunch of cobbles that you're going across, and yeah, it's just cool. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's almost like a park that was built for bike races
Yeah.
in a way. It seems like it's so perfect. I loved that this was Jose Bain's home region. Um,
Yes.
I
She
thought
had a lot of insight in this race.
I thought she was English, like or something. I did not realize that she was Dutch with like, but had. This is one thing I noticed when I was teaching English over in Prague years ago. Is you'd meet these people who were not native speakers but could speak English really well. And with many of them, you could absolutely tell like what country they spent 2 years in to learn English, because they would have it would be a Czech guy, but he'd have like an Australian accent or a Scottish accent or a British accent, like very clearly. And so Jose Bain very clearly spent a whole lot of time in England
Yes.
because the woman sounds English. It's amazing. And that's actually not her first language. Um, but yeah, and as usual, this climb just gives us a great finish. Like
Hmm.
it's just tailor made to provide a great finish.
It
You
came.
basically had, go ahead.
Yeah. It came down to Kubis, Laporte, and Timo de Jong
Yeah,
from
Timo
Volca
de Jong
Vessels.
from Volca Vessels. I love it.
Yes.
Um, who had been in the breakaway all day. Let's
Hmm.
not forget
Yeah.
Timo de Jong in the breakaway all day. Lucas Kubis, who has been sort of the king of there or thereabouts all year long. I feel like this guy has been scrapping with the best of them and has not gotten it together for a win. I don't think he's gotten a win this year, which is a shame. When you see a guy who's kind of you hear his name, all year long, and he just never gets his day in the sun. I think he is primed and ready to get something next year. Um, but De Jong kind of played it perfectly on that
He
one.
did.
I think
He
he
did.
he
I
he, uh, he
and
really measured his effort.
I felt like Laporte got gassed, and I feel like he was not going to end up being there in the end. And
I think Laporte knew his limits.
well,
I
but
don't know that he was
he ended up.
gas.
I think he came roaring back in like the last like 60 kilometers. Like at 50 is when
You
Dejean
mean
kind of
meters?
he like 50
Meters.
meters. Sorry,
Yeah.
he comes off the front just slightly and makes that move that eventually was the move to win at like 50 meters out. Laporte prior to that had looked like he was fading, and then he ends up coming, and then Laporte grabs second and Kuba's third.
Yeah,
So
I think Laporte was just like very carefully measuring like how much he could put out. He knew he would blow if he went any faster, and he was kind of waiting to see how it played out. He knew he was saving a little bit of something in the tank, and wanted to see how it played out. And basically, Kubis like led out from 500 meters to go up that climb,
yep.
and De Jong just stayed right in his wheel. Just absolutely played it perfectly. He knew that he had legs and
And he
blew
just made
past
that
him.
final little move, and it was just enough to keep away the whole until crossed the finish
Right.
line.
And Kubis had put out just enough to allow Laporte to come around him at the end.
Yep.
Um, they were saying that De Jong is a stagiaire for Picnic Post NL, which I think is like a guy that's there on like a trial basis. Um, but the guy's quality, and I would imagine that he's going to be getting offered a spot on a full time team, um, or on a on the Picnic Post main
Main
team
team.
next year. Um, won by 4 bike lengths, his first pro win, and Laporte goes into the orange jersey with his second place.
So speaking of which, let's fast forward to the next stage. I hate the orange skin suit. It's hideous.
Uh, it's not great.
Yeah, like if he had broken up with his
I
black
feel
with
like
some black Visma pants, I'd have felt. But he wore the full suit, and it was ugly.
yeah, these guys love their skin suits. I mean, it's the equivalent of the yellow skin suit in the Tour de France or a green skin suit. Or,
I'm
it's
not a huge.
it's
Maybe only in the
too much
Giro.
orange. Too much
Maybe the
orange.
Giro is the only one where I'm like, I can dig the whole, like going all pink. I don't know. I also think it looks, I
What
think
about all red in the Vuelta?
I feel
Don't
like
like
it,
the all
I
red.
don't know. It's less offensive than the all yellow. I can
Here's
tell
the
you that.
thing. I just don't care for the skin suit, to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest. I much rather like the look of the black shorts and the colored jersey,
Yes.
just in general.
And I
But
dug when Pogacar did like the magenta shorts with the pink, and it was a big controversy. But
it's
I was
right.
fine. I was fine with it.
So silly, so silly. This was the final day of the road season. This was the final day of Tim de Klerk, the tractor,
Yep.
uh, his last professional race.
I loved this parkour too. This like 11 laps of this
Mhm,
circuit. I thought it was a really cool way to end it.
mhm. So Yosei brought up a cool point. There's a little breakaway left, around 16 Ks to go, but the peloton was closing him down quickly, and we knew from then on that there was going to be a bunch sprint. So Jose pointed out that Merlier was looking to get one last twofer for the season. We discussed this in a previous episode. Um, he won 2 stages in the following races this year: uh, Alula Tour, UAE Tour, Paris Nice, Balois Belgium Tour, Tour de France, and Renouille Tour. 2 stages in every single one. It was 6 races. Um, and he had one stage in this race going into the final day and the final day of the season. Will Tim Merlier get his final two for the season? It did not happen. He was not even, well, no, he was in the mix.
He was. It just
There was just one problem.
yeah. Well,
The-
here's your one problem. I am not a giant Dirty Danny fan. I've referred to him as Dirty Danny multiple times on the podcast. I know you
Mhm,
have as well.
mhm.
But I will give credit where credit's due. Van Poppel made the exact right move at the
Oh yeah.
exact right time to be able to put himself into a position to win. Because here's the thing. He's not beating Coy or Merlier on the line. Not going to do it. Not going to happen. He did the thing that typically does not work and gets pulled back right at the end, but he did it in the right spot at the right time with the right amount of power to put enough of a gap in between those guys to be able to move. And he had been active in this race. He had bridged over to the group with Arts and Seagart, but he didn't look like he was going to. It looked like that was going to get swallowed back up. The fact that he made the move exactly when he did and was able to stay away was I mean, I give him all the credit in the world, man. The guy, you know, rode a great race.
Yeah, I mean, I give him 100% of the credit for having the race awareness and the sense, which can only come from experience. In my, I imagine being in one of these races and you're in that situation. You got three guys off the front. There's 13 kilometers left, and you're like, I can't, I can't beat these guys that I'm with here. Now is the time. I can sense it. Now is the time that I need to go. I need to get up to those guys in the front. It's the only way I'm going to win. And just to know the right moment when to do that and just to have that sense is just kind of astounding. And he pops out. I mean, this is all credit to him for this move. It was all by himself. One dude tries to keep up and can't, and he bridges up to that front trio. And now he's got three other dudes, and these guys are fired up, man. They're trying to win this thing. This is the last day of the season. Like,
Yes.
everybody wants to win. Like, everybody's in it to win it. And he knows. Now he knows I will whoop anybody in this group of guys in a sprint. All I got to do is hang on and keep them moving fast.
Well, and if you think, this had shades of the race last week with Perry Tour, where the three guys completely biffed it in the end, and didn't work together, and
Two guys.
two guys. But either way, the breakaway didn't, biffed it in the end and didn't do what they should have done, which is just keep riding. These guys kept riding, and Van Poppel was able to capitalize on it perfectly and pull out, a last day of the year win. It was,
Yeah.
like I said, man, it was phenomenal. I can't say enough. It was a great win by Van Poppel. Great
Yeah,
win.
there was so much drama in this thing because they basically had a 6 second lead on the peloton for like 3.5 kilometers. Like, that is nothing. 6 seconds with a charging peloton behind you and you're four. That's nothing. And somehow it just stayed at six, and it stayed at six, and it stayed at six. And suddenly you see Christophe Laporte in that horrible orange skin suit on the front of the thing, like, somebody's got to close this thing down. So, it's always strange when you see a guy in a leader's jersey putting in, overtime for somebody else on the team. Usually they're the one getting the work done for him. And there he is trying to get it back up. So Olaf Koy has a chance to get a win on the last day of the year, and just can't do it. They just hold him off, and
It
Danny
was
Van
not
Poppel does
meant to
exactly what
be.
Van Poppel did exactly what he knew he was going to be able to do. Makes that gamble pay off. Gets his first win in his national champions jersey, and it's on his home turf
Yeah.
too.
So,
Pretty sick.
Chapo,
And
for
I
real.
have to say, I don't know if you caught this, but Jose Bain said, and I quote, that Danny Van Poppel is a total gentleman. She was like, that's a class rider. He's a total gentleman. Like, she was beaming over him. And now that might just happen to be because, like, he's one of her local country, national
Right.
heroes or whatever. But I thought that was interesting because it's not just us that call him Dirty Danny. Like, we heard that from somebody else. Like, this guy's been relegated. He gets yellow cards. Like, it's a fact
He's
that,
he's a rough racer, but that doesn't mean that
yeah,
he's a bad dude.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to separate the ride from the rider.
Yeah, and in the end, Merlier bested Coy in the Peloton sprint. Um,
Not surprising.
he said Van Poppel had a funny moment in his interview. He said that the DS got on the radio after he had already jumped across to tell the team to pull for Danny, not realizing that Danny had already bridged over to the front to the front guys, and he had to get on and be like, "No, no, I'm up front. I'm front. Don't pull. Do not pull."
Yeah, sit, don't pull.
Right, and of
Get to
course
the front and sit on them.
we're burying the lead here. Christophe Laporte finishes the year with a GC
GC
victory
win.
in a stage race. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, baby.
I
You
just
go. You go, son. That's how you close strong, man. You
yes.
come in, you become a player in all those other races. He's been mixing it hard for 2 months. And then to finish on top like that, chapeau.
Yeah. It was a fun race, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah, love to see that. Um, let's jump into Guangxi. We'll talk about stage one, and then we'll take a break. Yeah.
Yeah, it works for me.
So Tour of Guangxi is famously one of the one of the last two big stage races of the year, um, and it's kind of cool in my estimation because it's different. You know what I mean? It's just different environs. It's different stuff to look at, but
It's utterly gorgeous.
absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so many cool things to see, and just the shape of the mountains. I was noticing
Yeah,
in the
yeah, it's
Queen
very
stage of
different.
this race.
All
They just
covered in trees. It's very,
yeah, it's
very
just
pretty.
very cool. Um, I love it, and it's they're sending real squads, some good riders to this thing,
Do you know what? Do
and
you know what Guangxi actually, if you translate it, what the tour of Guangxi actually is?
no.
So it is the tour of Paul's. So I don't know if you
Oh,
realize
oh, oh,
that.
you're setting up a joke. I got you.
It is the tour
Um,
of Paul's because only riders named Paul won anything in this race.
yes, it was a tour of balls for sure. Um, Stage one, you'll never believe this, but a guy named Paul won the stage, and that would be Paul Manier of Soudal Quickstep. Um, Tim Merlier ain't the only guy
No.
killing it in sprints on
Whoa.
Soudal
All right.
Quickstep this year.
So, does it burn Tim Merlier that that this guy ends up winning more stages than him this year?
I'm sure it does. I don't know. Tim Merlier seems like he doesn't seem like a hothead
Mm-mm.
per se. He seems like a pretty cool customer. So maybe he's like,
But can you
okay.
imagine winning 16 stages in a year? All right. And not only just competing with other riders that may have won that many stages, but there's another guy on your team that in the last few weeks of the year, not only does he catch you, but then passes you.
Yeah. But you're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because
Oh, you.
we're only
This is
on
true.
stage
This is
one
true.
here.
Um,
Um,
Huge
have,
crash in the middle, right going into the end of this race, like right into the sprint. It was horrific.
yeah. That wide shot from front on, you could see how, you get that kinetic effect, and it started way over on one side. By the time it's done, it's like spread across
Well, and it
the
just
entire
it just seemed like
entire
it
road.
just snapped guys right into it. Like it was like you could almost feel the gravity of it just sucking riders in. It was crazy.
Yep. So Manier started this race with 14 wins um, in his pocket. Um, and some of the names in the race to look out for, you had former winners Enrique Mas and Tim Wellens. You had Marijn Vandenberg here because there's a lot of sprint stages. You had Fernando Gaviria here.
Jan
Uh,
Christian was there.
but of course, Paul Manier is there too. Jan Christian, you had Kian Utebrooks alongside that guy Glogue for Lisa Bike. Um, and yeah, this thing just came right together for the bunch sprint. Like I was saying, some of these bunch sprint stages are just
Very predictable.
very predictable. But we got that huge crash, and then Paul Manier wins easily, puts him at 15 wins on the season. He completely outfoxes Jordi Meus, who gravely mistimed it. He he tried to slop. He was following a wheel, and it got a little bit too close to the finish line, and Manier was on Meus's wheel. And at the moment that Meus made that fatal decision to slot back in and try to grab 1 or 2 more seconds of slipstream, Paul Manier saw that, like, nah, now's the time we need to be sprinting, and he went right past him. That one, you know, as we will see, Paul Manier has got lots and lots of power in those legs this
Hmm.
week, but on this one, tactics. He picked the right moment, and he went right past him. Um, and that was his 15th win. Um, 52 wins for Soudal Quickstep with this win. Crazy.
That is
Because
crazy.
I don't feel like we spent a ton of time talking about that team this season, but
I mean,
52
obviously
wins
we have. It's just been
with
very
Remco.
focused. Yeah.
Don't miss Beyond the Slipstream, our weekly companion podcast to the Team Bus, our domestique, if you will, dropping every Saturday in your usual podcast feed. Stage two, Wednesday. You're about to see a highly repeating pattern here, as this thing was going to be a bunch sprint the entire time, basically. Narvaez makes a cheeky little move off the front with 3 kilometers to go, comes to nothing. Bismuth's looking good. They got 3 riders up in front with under 2K to go. Jayco's blasting up the right-hand side with a K to go, 5 team members. But Paul Magne is on the form of his life and absolutely slaying right now, and he goes 2 of 2. This time he made Casper Van Uden his little bitch, gave him a nice lead out before he came around with him and just ended him.
There's a crazy front on shot of the peloton like rounding. It's either the last corner or one of the last corners, and there's like a solo like guy like off the front, not by a lot, and the shot of the peloton coming around the corner behind him was harrowing. Like, good God, don't ever look back.
It's the speeds are so fast. It's
It's
crazy.
insane. But yeah, dude, Magne,
I mean,
dude, this guy looks so good, man. Like,
yeah, and
so good.
when talking about the speed, wait till we get to stage four. Um, yeah, crazy. So, stage three, more of the same. Bunch sprint was going to be a bunch sprint from word go. Paul Magne wins again. Um,
And this time it
couple
was,
of moves off,
yeah, I was
couple
gonna
moves off
say,
the front here and there,
you had
but nothing.
Narvaez and Ramos and Pedersen took a flyer at the end, but you know, Meunier edges, Mayus, dude, he's just got that guy's number. All right, and
Yes, 100%.
Max Cantor in the end to take the stage win.
This is number 54 for Sudal. It's 3 of 3 for Manier and his 17th win of the season. And on this same day, both races they make it 3 for 3 uh, to start the race. Holland and Guangxi.
Yes.
It's absolutely insane. This team just destroys the end of the season. Destroys it. Stage 4, or the same. Paul
Yeah.
Magne.
So you had
Gonna be a bunch sprint.
that guy Welshide, who had looked good through most of the day. He ended up opening up like just too early and fades. And again, Meunier just is able to overpower him and come away with another 4 in a row victory to go to 18 victories now. In 4 victories, 4 days, which is friggin' crazy.
It's nuts. And this is the one where he did it seated the entire time. They were going so fast. Um, the amount of power the guy is generating is ridiculous. I watched GCN Racing Show today,
Yes, so did I.
And Dan Lloyd is comparing the power numbers of each of his stage wins, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. He's putting out like 1,700 watts of power at the ends of these sprints. It's just completely stupid. Um, Finally, Saturday, we have a stage that it's pretty clear Paul Magne is not going
Not
to
gonna
win.
win, no.
This is the Queen stage. It's got a giant climb at the end. Um, I wanted to mention, I noticed most of the starts this week, how the teams would come up on stage and they would beat the drum, the Chinese drum. Did you see that?
I didn't notice, no.
That was really cool. I like those little cultural touches. Um, got a lead group out in front with Intermarché, Movistar, Trek, Astana represented, organized peloton behind, and coming into the final climb. It was really interesting. You could have been fooled into thinking they were setting up for a bunch sprint because like every team was together at the bottom of that climb, getting their climbers positioned so they could start in the front. Um, and almost immediately, there's a crash at the bottom of the climb that catches out Aurelian Paripantra and Odette Kogug Good of IPT. And they both get back on their bike, but it's a real shame for Decathlon because APP was their guy.
Yep.
Um, so Halfway up, you've got Ryan Gibbons and Su Haya from China as the final two from the break, still hanging in there. And the Chinese guy drops the Astana man. Um, I mean, the Chinese guy from Astana drops Gibbons, and he's last man standing, but is almost immediately
Yeah,
like
it's just
subsumed by
immediately.
the chasing group. And that would be Paul Double, Mikel Honore, and Ben Zwiehoff, and Gibbons is kind of trying to hang on to him for dear life. But that's going to end up being your group that fights it out for the win.
Well, and Gibbons peels off pretty much immediately after that move goes.
Yeah, he was nipping at their heels for a second, but like could not hang after putting out the effort that he did.
And just watching the three of them, I don't feel like Zwiehoff was ever really in for the win. It was either going to be Double or Honore, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
double attacks. And my note says, "Who is this guy? What's his name?
Yeah,
What's his name
yeah.
was
Jazz Cox
yeah,
going through his
Jez Cox
nicknames.
was calling for him like all day.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, I loved his list of nicknames that he was pulling off of his Instagram that people were writing him with. My favorite one being Paul, because his name is Paul
Paul
Double, so
Double,
just call
yeah,
him Paul. Um,
yeah,
yeah, incredible. After he made his move, like he immediately put 10 bike lengths into him and then
yeah.
held
Honore
that for a
Honore
couple of
couldn't
seconds
hang.
and then just started stretching it out from there. Um, he's a former winner of the Tour of Slovakia. I think he might have won that this year, but yeah, who is this guy? I have to admit I didn't really know anything about him. I feel like I had heard his name, um, but wins with time to spare
Yeah, Vic Lafay makes like a
and
uh,
goes into GC lead.
yeah, Vic Lafay makes like a ill-fated move that doesn't really go anywhere, and Double gets his first World Tour win. By the way, he has one, but only at the
Yeah,
pro level.
yeah. And Lefay, I mean, he fatal move, but he's in second place here. He's 15 seconds back, and Narvaez 1 second behind him, going into the final day of racing for all of these riders on Sunday. Um, you're never going to believe this, but Paul Manier won the sprint. Can you like Paul Manier,
Whoa,
that guy?
really?
Yes, he won the sprint.
That's
That dude,
crazy.
like nobody
Who saw that
saw that
coming? Yeah,
coming
nobody.
at all. Um, but it was kind of fun because with 15 kilometers to go, you had Victor Lafay sitting out front solo, and he's basically got 15 seconds on Paul Double for a while. And that just happens to be the exact margin that Double is holding on him going into the stage. And, the numbers are lining up perfectly. Of course, there's 10 bonus seconds on the line. So, you know, had he maintained that gap to the finish line, he would have won handily with the 10 bonus seconds. Um, Nonetheless, it kind of made things interesting for a
Yes.
little while, but he got caught 12K to go or something like that. That wasn't going to happen. Um, and then it became a matter of once again, oh yeah, this thing's going to be a bunch sprint. So in the case of Paul Double, he just needed to hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the
Get to
3Ks
three
to
Ks
go,
and
stay
and
with the
call it a day.
peloton, take your first huge GC win.
Yeah, gets a
Um,
gets a gets a stage win and a GC. What more can be said? I mean, what a great finish to the year for that guy.
mhm, mhm. And also, what a great finish to the year for Paul Magnier. This is the stat that stood out to me. You ready?
I wonder if it's
He
the same
won
one that's in my
he
notes.
won 14 races in the last 36 days of his
In
season.
the last
Not
five
race
weeks,
days, not
yes,
race days, total days. He won 14 out of
14,
36 days.
14 of his 19 wins came in the last 5 weeks.
That is crazy. That's
Yes,
3 wins a week, basically.
yes. So
That's
so so
crazy. I mean,
mind
at a
you,
grand tour, that would be 9 wins.
so
He'd be
mind
marched out of a
you,
grand
so
tour
this
at
is
that rate.
this is mid October. All right, so 5 weeks ago puts him at the end of August. Okay, maybe early September, really. All
That
right.
is nuts.
So coming off of the Vuelta, all right, Merlier has this guy by got to be at least 7 races, and he is able to put together 14. Okay,
Wow.
2 less than Merlier put together for the entire season in 5 weeks. I mean, that is
Crazy.
a unbelievable pace of winning.
Powerhouse. I wonder what that must feel like as a rider, just the power just to feel unstoppable, to just go out there and know that you will win every
It's
time. And
crazy.
it wasn't like he was destroying dudes,
Mm-mm.
but he was getting it. He just got it done. He got it done by a half a wheel. He got it done by a bike length. He got it done by a half a bike length, but he got it done every single time.
But he pulled, and a lot of these were stage race wins. So he's, was pulling multiple stages, you know, per, per race that he rode. It's just insanity. You know,
Well, think about that. Like I said, if he would have had that streak, but he would have been in a Grand Tour and had that streak, he would have come out of the Grand Tour with 9 stage wins.
yes.
That's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of production.
He ends up finishing the season one behind Tadej Pogacar for wins.
That's
One.
crazy.
One.
Who would have called that Paul Manier?
By the way, in a year where you've got Merlier with 16 wins, you've got Brennan with 15 or 16 wins, you've got uh,
Del Toro.
Del Toro with 14, 15 wins. You've got that pro level guy that had I think 17 or 18 wins.
Right.
I can't think what that guy's name is. I think he's like he's got a very like Russian sounding name. Yeah, like unbelievable, dude. Like what an unbelievable end of the season for that team. And I tell you what, they have nothing to worry about losing Remco. They have literally nothing to worry about. That team
No,
wins
they're good to go.
so many races.
They're a sprinting team.
Yeah, they don't need it. Like,
Would you like to hear the numbers on wins for this year?
sure.
This is pro wins. So your guy is not included in this. The guy that you're talking about
Which guy?
is Dusan
Yes.
Rajovic.
Yes.
But on PCS, he's listed. This is the individual wins list.
Is this World Tour level though?
No, the professional wins is the one that I'm more
Okay.
concerned with. I think you are, and that goes like this: Pogacar, 20 wins;
Yes.
Manier, 19 wins;
Yes.
Del Toro, 16; Merlier, 16; Mads Pedersen, 14; Matty Brennan, 12; Olav Koy, 11; Joao Almeida, 10; Jonathan Milan, 9; and in the 10th spot, tied for 9th place, Alexander Salby of Li Ning Star. That's weird.
Interesting.
And then there's a guy from Astana, Matteo Malucelli, with 8 wins. And then next you have, listen to this. Listen to the names that come after Alexander Salby and Matteo Malucelli. Listen to the names that come after those two guys. Ready? Remco Evenepoel, Juan Ayuso, Jasper Philipsen, Arnaud Delis, Jonas Vingegaard, Mathieu van der Poel. I swear to God, those two guys have more wins than all of those dudes.
Pro level wins.
And also, remember who was 2 above those two guys? Joao Almeida. More wins than Evenepoel, Ayuso, Philipsen, Delis, Vingegaard,
Yes.
and Van der Poel. Joao Almeida.
Yes.
Facts.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Well, let's wrap up our time in China, and
China.
let's head over to Italy for these last of these.
Well, I did want to mention
Sure.
that the women's tour of Guangxi was won by Anna Henderson of Lidl Trek. It's a 1-day race.
Oh yeah.
She won in a 2-up sprint versus Caroline Anderson of Liv Alula Jaco, and that is about all I can tell you about that race.
Yeah. I don't think it was televised. I didn't see it anywhere.
It was on Tiz, I think, but I
Was
did
it?
not catch up with it.
All All right, so let's go to the Giro del Veneto for the women, because this one I definitely could not find anywhere. It must be on. It was probably on Tiz, but I think all that I found on it was all in Italian.
Yeah, it was on Tiz, but it was in Italian. So I did not. I can't do it. Like in that instance, I just mute it. I'll put it. I'll watch the last 5 kilometers muted while I'm doing something else,
Yeah.
just to kind of have it in my eyeballs. So that's how I watched it, and I saw Persico solo for the win,
Yep.
half a minute in hand over Marlon Roysa.
Yeah, she was in
Um,
like a 4 rider break, including her teammate ELB, and she got kind of launched and let go, and she was able to pull away for the win.
yeah, and just as it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to win from pretty far out in the men's race.
Ugh.
No surprise there.
He looks like Pogacar. All right,
He does.
Isaac Del Toro from UAE Emirates. Like when you look at him, if you didn't know that it wasn't Pog, you could almost mistake him for his riding style. He looks just like him.
Hmm. Hmm. And he's got the very rambunctious Pavel Sivakov on the team there with him. Um, Sivakov's just one of those guys. He's like a Mark Soler guy. Like if he's in a
Yes.
race, like he's gonna be up there and he's gonna be mixing it and trying to make things happen. Um, and I like that about that guy. But really, it was not needed when it came to the win of the
No,
race.
not at all.
And I think Sivakov ended up getting second here. Um, because he was able to just sit on this little chasing group that was behind Del Toro the whole time with Roman Gregoire. There was of course, two Astana guys, Benjamin Thomas, Champoussin, Ulisi. That's one thing. Once again, across all these races that we've been watching this whole week, Astana is just always there. One
I'm
guy,
glad that
two
you said
guys.
that because it reflects when we get plug for our other podcast, Beyond the Slipstream. We'll talk a little bit more about the points race and how it finished up. But that's something that this team did so well all year long was gobbling up points. All right, and
Yeah.
being in the mix and getting top fives and top tens and just stacking points because I'd love to go back and maybe I'll do this for Beyond the since we won't have anything more to talk about. Maybe I'll go back in the notes to when I first started tracking this and we'll look at the difference in I'll look at the difference between when we started really tracking this on the show to where we are now and how many points
Yeah.
these guys stacked up
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in
That'd be
that
cool.
in that time because they deserve so much credit for the hard work that they did this year because
Let's devote that segment little on the air production meeting right here for our last 2 shows of the Beyond season. In that spot where normally you'd be updating us on the points, since there's no more changes happening. Let's analyze how all that broke down
yeah.
over the course of the year. Let's have a 2-part conversation about that because I'm kind of fascinated by it. Well, this is the other thing. With Astana, we've been saying all year that what they've mastered is the fine art of getting fourths and fifths on a consistent basis and racking up points. But I don't know if you caught what I said a couple of minutes ago, but 11th in professional wins this year
I know.
was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Matteo Malucelli. Those are wins. They also got a fair number of first place, at least out of this guy. They got 8 wins out of this guy,
Absolutely.
professional wins. So
When they're right,
just hats off to him, man.
Bowl was in the mix at Guangxi. There was, there is, these guys pop up in these different races in different places now, and it'll be very interesting moving forward. Seeing what these guys decide to do in this kind of reshaped pro peloton that we're going to have in 2026. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do.
Agreed.
So let's move on to the Veneto Classic, which honestly was more interesting than either of the other 2 races.
Agreed. The big instigator in this race, I would say, was Florian Vermeersch, hot off of his world gravel world championship winning ride last week. Um,
His form's really good right now.
Clearly, um, and he's a man for a race like this. He's part of a big group of 11 riders. You'll never believe this, but there's two Astana guys up in that group. Um, 30 kilometers to go, working well together, holding off a chasing group of 7 with Wellens like a minute back. And then the peloton's a good 2 minutes behind them. 22 Ks to go. Wellen jumps off the chase group, but it's a huge ask to try to bridge up to the leaders. The guy, De Bruyne from Alpecin, comes and joins him, and they just can't make any headway. And I think at some point he drops De Bruyne, but he's just immobilized. He's just static, and he's not moving the needle at all. They get to the nasty little Latissa climb. It's like 9% at the start over cobblestones, and then like near the top it gets up to like 15%. Yeah, Wellens, by 12 Ks to go, Wellens is back minute and a half. It's not happening for him. And you get to this next climb, the Diesel Farm. I love the names of these climbs, the Diesel Farm. What does that mean? Davide De Preto from Jayco looking super strong. Diego Ulisi is strong for Astana. And they're going up this diesel climb, and there's a bunch of gravel on it, and De Preto is out in front, and he slides out. Absolutely horrible timing. Ulisi blasts right past him, and he's solo on the front. It's pretty much day done for De Preto. At the same time, it's playing hell for Ulisi. He almost comes to grief on a corner. Chasers get back on. Guy gets a flat. Guy from Alpecin, Maurice, gets a flat. And the lead group kind of materializes into a group of 5. You got Vermeersch, Ulisi, De Preto's back in business. You got Germani of Groupama, and this guy Lowland of Uno X. And Dylan Toons is like trying desperately to get up with these guys and not pulling it off. Final climb, Germani is the strongest over the climb. Vermeersch and Lowland are right behind him. And 2Ks to go. Germani leads down to like 5 seconds. And Vermeersch and Lowland bridge up. Ulisi gets back on with like 600 meters to go. This is so exciting. And 300 meters to go, Lalonde gets onto the front and manages to hang on for the win. It's his first major win. Uno X, we will be talking about them on our aforementioned points ranking thing, because what a season.
Yes.
What these guys pulled off.
Lot of benefit from the moves, the big team moves, but the fact that they put themselves in the position that they did is commendable, and they got wins all over the place.
Yep.
Right.
Wins, and they also got big finishes that weren't wins, very Astana-esque. We weren't really talking about them in that vein, but I mean, just take a look at this week that we're talking about. Jonas Abrahamson got third in one of the races earlier this week.
Yes.
So, yeah, Uno X finishing strong, getting a win on the last day. What can you say? It was a good race. We didn't even say that. Well, Lolan. His name is Zacharias Lolan.
Zacharias Kohler Lolan.
Chapeau to you, sir. All right, let's turn our attention to the Andorra Cycling Masters, an exhibition race in the country of Andorra, or whatever, the Principality of Andorra, whatever they call it, which we kind of got. I wouldn't say we got bad information. We didn't seek out enough information as we should have to temper our expectations. We were just rolling into this thing thinking it was going to pop up on a feed somewhere, at the very least on our pirate feed. And that did not happen.
No, it turns out it is a tourism package and movie. And we'll definitely get to see this race eventually.
On Netflix.
So And I'm sure it'll be wonderful. I'm sure it'll be very, very interesting, and they'll make it very compelling.
Oh, I absolutely cannot wait to watch the Netflix to watch this get the Netflix treatment. It just sucks that we're spoiled on it. I mean, they got to
Yes,
figure out a way. It needs to be done in a contained way. I mean,
there is not
they
really
just need
any
to do
way.
it. They just need to do it Tour de France Unchained style, where they give you the packet like you get to watch the actual race. They need
Yes.
to produce the
The
race so we can
mistake
watch the
was that they
race.
did not televise the race in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I really, really hope that they decide to make this a thing, and that every year we get four riders. It's not always going to be
Yeah, it doesn't
these
need
four guys.
in
You know what I mean? Like,
in fact, I don't need it to be these four guys.
well, let's take those four guys. Take those four guys out. First of all, take those four guys out. Um, one of those four guys is named, where is it? Primoz Roglic,
Oh yeah, what
right?
dude?
He uh he had 3 wins this year. Okay, one of those guys. So he had 3 wins. Um, one of those guys is named um, Jonas Vingegaard. He had 6 wins. Okay, so 3 and 6. How about let's just speculate? How about the Andorra Masters Classic or whatever with Paul Magnier, Isaac Del Toro, Tim Merlier, and Mads Pedersen on a course that somehow lands in the middle of those four guys.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. I'd kind of much rather see that than the one we got to see. And it was supposed to be, we should say, Remco got an invite. So this could have been a 5 guy thing.
remains to be seen. Well, let's wait and see how it all plays out when we actually get to watch it. So I'm sure that you watched the same video that I did, where they were like getting off the bus, not even
Yes,
the bus.
yes,
They're
yes.
getting
I
out
want to
of.
talk about it.
All
I
right.
want to talk
They're
about
getting.
it.
They're getting. So I'll just kind of set it up. The video kind of opens with the four riders who are Primoz Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard, Tadej Pogacar, and Isaac Del Toro, getting out of a electric VW bus, like the new electric VW bus, which
it it's so like lo-fi. Like this whole production is just like shot on somebody's phone.
yes.
It's so weird to see these four guys just like getting out of a bus. Like, what am I watching here?
Okay. So a couple of notes from this
Not a bus, a van.
from a van. It's just a VW electric bus. That's what it's called.
And they're like
So-
popping open the trunk and like
Yes.
getting their gear out and stuff. But there's no soignets or anything.
Yeah, okay.
It's insane.
So the first thing I notice is that, of course, Pog makes Del Toro ride in the back. Okay, that's the first thing that I notice.
Of course.
Is that he has to pop the seat forward for Del Toro to get out of the back of the vehicle.
Right.
Okay. Then the four of them get out, and for whatever reason, Jonas is in the most
Insane.
ridiculous coat that I've ever seen. He is in a knee length, okay, like extremely thick brown coat. Nobody else is in it. Nobody else. I don't even know if anybody else is wearing a jacket.
They're not. They're all in their team gear. They have
yeah.
long sleeves on, but they all have jerseys on. Like they're ready to go. And Jonas has got like this big like parka on. He's got like a cloak on. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
He looked so out of place. He looked so
There's
unhappy
also-
to be
there's
there.
also
I'm like,
some-
why is Jonas here?
He also had some sort of giant white thing in his pocket that everybody wants to know what was in his pocket. But anyway,
It was wild. Like that was so wild. And then it kicks to like the interview session, and who's conducting the interviews? Rob Hatch.
now here's something I want to note from this. Okay, out of these four guys, Primoz Roglic is so much cooler than everybody else that's there.
100%.
Like he looks cooler. He
Oh yeah.
gives a better interview. Just him being him, he is
Yes.
a cooler guy than the three of those guys put together. Like it's not
Yes.
even close. Like he had the headband and the whatever, and he's so goddamn cool, calm,
Yeah.
and collected all the time, and it just
Yes, that
all
is
it
why
was.
I love the
I'm
man, and
just
that's
like,
why I
oh
am
my
so,
god,
so, so happy that he won the inaugural race.
yes,
Because, like, say what you want about it, it's a little exhibition thing, it's a new thing or whatever, but there's something special about being the first guy to win something. What if this becomes like a huge thing? Guess whose name is right there first? Primoz Roglic. I love it. You get the sense. I mean, you have to speculate as to whether Jonas was in it to win it. Not at all. He was like not even putting out any effort in the sprint at the finish, and apparently he got completely dusted on the time trial by like 4 minutes
yeah.
or something like that on this tiny little like 12-kilometer long time trial or something like that. So,
That just
but
goes. That just goes to show. Yeah, he didn't show up for this at all. He got
at all.
he got his money and said okay and left.
And with Pogacar, I think he was kind of like, nah, I'm not losing my mind over this thing. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
let's go do it. And if the form's still there, then I'll win it. And if it's not, then I won't. And I don't freaking care
yeah.
either way.
Nobody
That's
because
the
it
vibe I
doesn't
got from
count
it.
for anything at all. It is literally a paycheck for these guys.
Hmm.
But I would lie if I said that I wasn't excited to see what comes of it on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm absolutely stoked. And, I really hope that it becomes a thing.
I do too. And I would be much more interested in seeing other riders that aren't those guys
It's the skins game
involved.
of cycling. And let's
Yes.
get some other riders in there. Let's have an all sprinters edition where it's Merlier, uh, it's
You go
Merlier,
Merlier, Coy,
Philipsen,
Phillipson.
Coy, and DeLee.
Ooh,
Those four guys.
I wouldn't mind if you just threw Brennan and Pedersen
Or
in there as
Brennan.
well.
Or both of those. All
Yeah.
six of those
Yeah.
guys. Let's do those six guys in a crit race. Fuck the time trial. Do 2 days of criteriums in like two different styles, like one with a big flat finish and one with a twisty uphill finish, but still sprinty. And put all six of those guys there. Let's put Biniam in there as well.
Yeah.
Although this year he doesn't deserve to be in that group, but
If
that would be
only.
so cool. God, let this become a thing.
Yeah.
That's what this is what we should talk to Jez Cox about. It's like we got a lot of ideas for some cool kinds of cycling events. We want to get your feedback.
This is yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, really, that's all I got on this. I mean, who else would you want doing the interviews besides Rob Hatch?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot out there, but like, I mean, I wouldn't have even known. I wasn't watching the calendar. We hadn't put it in the show notes. Like, we hadn't connected those dots yet as to like when's the date, and let's put it in the show notes because we know we're going to want to talk about it. And I happened to be on YouTube and just got completely spoiled. Like, a video off to the side or something when I was looking something up earlier, and I was like, oh, that happened. And I can see right there who won. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the
yes,
exact same thing happened to me.
yeah, of course. And so you went and you searched it on YouTube and you found the one video from the cyclism and you watched it. It was about 4 minutes long and it showed you just this bare minimum weird collection of clips from this thing. You didn't get to see any of the TT, which was apparently done early in the morning, but they showed none of the TT. You saw some quick shots of the guys just like zooming past in this criterium, and you saw the shot of the finish with a slow-mo shot, and then some of this interstitial stuff, the guys getting out of the van. Yeah, to me it was worth it just for that van stuff. Like, that was so freaking funny just
Yeah.
watching those four guys. I mean, we are used to seeing these guys rolling out of like $1 million team buses
Yes.
with like soignés out the ass, and like, they would never carry anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jonas Vingegaard's got a guy that hands him his phone when he needs to text his wife, and you know what I'm saying? Like, to see them getting out of this van,
Yeah,
like
out of
all
a
stuffed in there,
$40,000,
and like going into the
VW
back and
electric
here, let me
bus.
grab my helmet and my gloves, guys. We're going out for a group ride. Like,
Yeah.
it's just craziness. So funny. Well, we will leave it there. Stay with us, and we will be back for a ride in the Broom Wagon. All right, we are back and we're taking that end of the season ride in the Broom Wagon. Justin, do the honors.
Well, you because you started your notes earlier than me, you actually took my broom wagon item.
It was never your Broom
Yeah,
Wagon.
okay,
Okay.
whatever. All right. Anyway, so I pivoted from the greatness that you're
Don't
gonna that you're
don't.
I'm not that you're gonna talk about, and I went the complete opposite direction.
I like it. I like it. Good
Okay.
setup. Good setup.
All right. So, and it's the reason I thought about it is because of poor Kenny Pickett. All right. Steelers draft pick that is now in Oakland never really materialized. He was the first quarterback that they took after Roethlisberger retired.
Do
A
you still follow the Steelers a little bit? I know that was your
little
team,
bit.
living there in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Little bit. So Pickett gets he is backing up in Las Vegas, and they are just getting hammered by the Chiefs on Sunday. They're down 31 to nothing, I believe, and
Ouch.
yeah, it's abysmal. And Kenny Pickett, who has not taken a actual snap all year, is thrown in garbage time to see if he can, put something together. I guess I don't know, but
Find some magic
yeah,
in that old silk hat.
yeah. Well, there wasn't any magic to be found because from the very first snap, he fumbled and it was recovered by Kansas City.
Ouch.
Okay.
Your season debut. You're
Yes,
like hike, fumble,
season debut.
turnover.
Yes.
Brutal.
He was in the game for just a few plays, finishing with 2 pass attempts for 8 yards and a lost fumble.
Ouch.
And my note here said, "Pro sports can be so cruel." So that then took me down a rabbit hole
Oh God. All right,
of
hit these.
of
Hit these.
three like abysmal debuts. Some of these are career debuts. I actually think maybe these are all career. No, they're not all career debuts, but the last one is a debut with a particular team. But when 18-year-old, all right, Lionel Messi, all right, had took his international debut. It was anything but ordinary. He entered the Argentina setup during the 65th minute of a match against Hungary, but less than 2 minutes later was dismissed with a straight red card. Messi was dribbling through the center of the pitch when he elbowed Vilmos Vanček in the face as the defender tugged on his jersey from behind. Messi was reportedly found crying in the locker room after the match.
That's how much he loves soccer.
Yeah.
It just destroyed him that he was taken out of a game. All right, go ahead.
All right, so the notorious Bill Baker, he was a 1970s enforcer for the Montreal Canadiens. In his debut, he was in 3 fights. He lost 3 fights.
Ouch.
The first one against Tim Kerr left him bloodied and required 5 stitches. His second bout against Mike Buznik left him needing another 9 stitches before another bout with Kerr left him with a broken nose and in need of
Wait.
3 more stitches.
These guys are getting stitched up in the middle of the game.
Yes, dude.
Just get their face bashed in. They go off to their bench. They got a guy over. They got a cut man like it's a freaking boxing match. The guy's over there stitching them up. All right, get back in there, kid.
3 fights, 3 losses, and this
Wow.
was supposed to be his specialty.
That is brutal. All right.
All right, and then the last one was Anton Jameson. All right, the Cleveland. This is we're gonna rewind back to 2010 when Cleveland is desperately trying to keep LeBron James in Cleveland, but all this guy wants is a championship. So they were attempting to attract LeBron James into staying in Cleveland by helping him win an NBA championship in 2010. To do this, they orchestrated a 3-team trade for Anton Jameson. It was immediately apparent that Jameson was not the solution to their problem. Jameson went 0 for 12 from the field in over 26 minutes of work against the Charlotte Bobcats and scored only 2 points from the free throw stripe. The failure of this deal eventually led to LeBron leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I thought it was the Charlotte Hornets. That's insane. So they were like, they thought that this guy was going to
Maybe
be
it is the
good.
Hornets. Maybe that was just a bad article.
That was just a bad AI article. Um, uh, they thought that Jameson would be good, and so the team would get a little bit better, and then LeBron would be like, "Yeah, they're on the way up. Let me join that winning team."
Yes.
It was that the thought, but it ended up
just
sort of
just
doing what
the
they wanted, but
exact
the wrong way. He
opposite.
was like, "Oh, these idiots are just helpless. I got to get in there and help these fools out if Cleveland's ever going to win." Yeah, weren't we talking about that before a couple weeks back about the Jordan versus LeBron thing and how it's
Yes.
like, yeah, and I was making the point. Well, Jordan never went to Cleveland and got him a championship.
It's
All
funny.
right.
It's funny that you bring that up because I just heard somebody talking about this the other day, and there was they made such a damn good point, and I was just like, oh, I should have like snapshot it or wrote it down or something because it was Paul Pierce. That's what it was. It was Paul Pierce who literally says that he goes if LeBron and I had played at the same time, all right, and like we had been contending with each other, which they did play at the same time, but had he been in the finals versus LeBron, there's no chance LeBron would have won his titles. Was essentially what he said. He said he would have beat the pants off of him, which I found
Gotcha.
interesting. But anyway, I digress. Matt, what do you have for us on the Broom Wagon this week?
Someone had to talk about it this week, and I beat you to the punch, apparently. Uh, we may have just witnessed the single greatest one man, one game performance in the history of baseball. And the season ain't over, is all I'll say, because the Dodgers are going to the World Series. Um, Shohei Ohtani, the already legendary Los Angeles Dodger, in Game 4 of the NLCS Conference Series, um, he was pitching. He threw for 10 strikeouts, and he hit 3 home runs.
By the way,
And
they do not regularly utilize him for pitching.
he pitches a fair amount.
Yes, but
I mean,
not like
I
they.
would say I would say regularly, but not like often. He's in the rotation.
What is insane is that he's this good throwing the ball, and they really just he is a hitter for them, which is
Yeah, well, it's
goddamn
nuts, and
nuts.
and it's like all the you keep hearing year after year, you hear people calling for him to, oh, it's stupid to do both, just specialize in one, and it's like, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to specialize in one. I'm great at both. Okay, I love doing both. I'm great at both. My arm is still fine, and I can still smash the ball all the way out of the stadium in the NLCS.
The third home run is unreal.
No, it was the second one that
Was it
went
the
out of the
second one?
stadium.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, it
yeah.
was the second one. Unreal. All right, like the crack of this bat was something. If you appreciate baseball in the least, you need to go and watch a video of this performance because
Yeah, definitely check it out.
the
I mean, you must.
strike that he puts on that ball is just unreal.
Well, and some of the pitches, some of the strikeouts are just ridiculous too. I mean, he threw a couple of like 102 mile an hour just heaters right down the middle for strikeouts because the ball's traveling so fast. I mean, the guy is just an absolute specimen. What I would recommend you do is check out the article that I will link in our description for this episode. It was from, I think it was from The Athletic. Uh, and it was by there's an article by Jason Stark in The Athletic. Um, Great article. And what I loved about it was he went through and he fairly comprehensively compared this performance to many other single game performances over the years. And by the end of the article, it's just so clear that this is unquestionably the greatest game ever played by a single player. And it is 100% because he both hit and pitched, and he was incredibly productive on both sides of that equation, because there are every other variation available out there. There are guys that had huge hitting games. There are guys that had perfect pitching games. There are guys that had huge hitting games and also pitched a couple of innings. There are guys who had huge pitching games and also hit a couple of innings. There are guys who had a huge pitching game and got one home run. There are guys who got four home
Yes.
runs, but they got two strikeouts. You know what I'm saying? But no guy ever got three freaking home runs and 10 strikeouts. Like, the fact that both of those numbers on that equation are so big is what puts this performance in an absolute stratospheric league of its own.
Well, in the modern era of baseball, having the pitcher be also one of your best hitters is just, it's not a thing that happens.
Right.
Pitchers just
Total
don't.
unicorn.
Yeah, pitchers don't specialize in hitting and vice versa. What's really insane is it really it harkens back to a bygone era, the era of Babe Ruth, where you had, because of the size of the game at the time, and salaries and having to pay players, like, guys had to play both sides of the ball.
Right.
Like, you
Unless you were wondering that whether he compared Otani's performance to Babe Ruth's. Oh, he certainly did. And Babe Ruth never, ever came close to having a game like Shohei Otani had in this thing.
right.
But you're right. You're right. He's a unicorn. And we've talked about this a lot. I mean, I think if you had to pick a single word to characterize professional sports in, let's say, the past 10 to 20 years, specialization,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we're talking about team sports. Specialization is kind of the key to it. And I mean, take our beloved cycling, the whole point of this entire podcast. I mean, that is why Tadej Pogacar is such a unicorn as well. And I compared him in my notes. I think when we were texting each other, I said, Otani is the Pogacar of baseball. And it is for that very reason. Tadej Pogacar is a guy who can win Grand Tours and also win monuments. Those kind of guys just don't come along
Right.
even once in a lifetime. You know what I mean? Once in a generation. They're multi-generational talents, you know what I mean? And Otani, I mean, it boggles the mind.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's that, and it's sort of the same thing where you got to sit back and say, I feel privileged to have gotten to witness this.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? To be an 80-year-old man, in the nursing home, talking about when Otani, you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
incredible,
It's
absolutely incredible.
it's it is as far as baseball is concerned, it is you know something that, if you've watched enough of it, when you see it, you just kind of can't believe that the production is coming from just one player. And then again and again, dude, the home run that he hit, I think it was like 469 feet or something like that,
Yeah,
is what they classified it as. That's like Barry Bonds shit. Okay,
it's
that's
ridiculous.
Mark
Yeah.
McGuire, Sammy Sosa in their heyday stuff. Like, these are massive. That's a massive
What
ball.
what is it like? How does a guy, where's a guy like this come from? Like, when you think in terms of specialization, like, did he just work a couple of hours longer than other guys? Like,
Well, I mean, I think.
or is it just like some kind of God-given talent? You
I
know what
mean,
I
I
mean? Like,
think.
how can one guy be so good at both of those things?
I think that I mean, you have. I'm sure that you know the God given talent part of it plays a major portion of it, but then he's also coming out of a culture that is baseball, very, very baseball centric. You know what I mean? And again, I'm sure that very much out of necessity, he probably played both ways a lot as a younger player,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
developed in that sense of, he was really good at pitching, but he was also had a great hand-eye coordination that related to hitting. And in this modern age of specialization, with like what you just spoke to,
Well,
there's no reason why he couldn't have significant amounts of training on both. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure. I mean, he had to. He had to. I think it's also one thing that it could be that you might be a little easier to overlook with a Shohei Ohtani, and that is due to the nature of what baseball uniforms look like. With a Tadej Pogacar, you can look at him, you can look at his build, because cycling clothing is so tight fitting, you get a very, very clear idea of what guys' musculature is like, how heavy they are, and everything. Whereas a baseball uniform, it's a bit looser fitting. It kind of can obscure that a little bit depending on how guys wear it. And I think
right.
Otani wears his pants legs pretty low, and you know what I mean. Like, but methinks that underneath that uniform is probably a physique that could not be more perfectly made for
For
the sport of
both things,
baseball.
yes.
You know what I mean? For just as an all around perfect body to do the things that he needs it to do. In the same way that Pogacar, I feel like
Well,
he's
and I
got
think
that
and
he's
I
got
think a
that physique,
lot.
he's got the right height, he's got the right weight, he's got the right leanness. He lands at the perfect spot on that weight,
On all those
power to
metrics.
weight
Yeah, no, I'm
space,
with you.
ratio.
And but I also think that much like Pogacar too, that there's probably a pretty large work ethic type, element to it that, you know, I think that there are people, in this world that come along like Michael Jordan and like Wayne Gretzky that just they see the board differently than everybody else and
Mhm.
are able to capitalize on it with, physical gifts that, you know, allow them to reach, untethered heights. And it's very interesting to see it in him because it is so, and I think that it's so different because you just don't see it in baseball. His the it reminds me, and it's not really the same, but it reminds me of like when Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders would play dual
Yeah.
sports, where you were
Hmm.
just like, how the hell can these guys? Like, how can you play both of these sports? It's very much in that same vein. It's like these two things are so far apart. How can you do both? And
Yeah, I
again,
think it's a mix.
in baseball, it's like that all the time. Like these
Mhm.
guys are this and these guys are this, and it's a very, separate thing. And pitchers are
Well,
not
I mean,
expected to hit.
you no, but if you're a hitter, you still have to field,
Yes.
and if you're known for your glove, like your team still needs to needs you to get up there and get as many damn, base hits as possible. I mean, you do have to do a variety of things. I think the Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders comparisons are a little bit more apt in this situation, just because, like, I mean, because I feel like in this day and age, like you would almost never see a Patrick Mahomes also being like a defensive linebacker. You know what I mean? Like that would
Yeah, yeah. Like
never
you're definitely
ever
never going to
happen
see it
in
in
a million
football.
years.
No, you'll
Yeah.
never see it in football. And I don't know that we'll ever see another dual sports threat like those two guys were.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. That's for sure. But then again, like every once in a while, somebody comes along, and you know, you never know. It's
Well, I also think that it's the day and age that I think that these guys are worth so much money to these teams that no baseball team in their right mind is going to agree to letting somebody play football anymore. Like
yeah,
it's too
yeah, for
barbaric.
sure.
The
Well,
sport is
and
too barbaric.
I was gonna say also, I think it's with guys like this, I'm quite sure it's always a combination of factors. You can't put your finger on one thing in particular that is the reason why they're great. I mean, they've got a mix, and
Yeah,
part of that
it's
mix
an
is
X
their
factor.
physicality. Part of it is the work ethic that they have. Um, and part of it's like their background and how hungry they are. I mean, I would imagine that a lot of these guys, like the character that Daniel Day-Lewis played in the great There Will Be Blood. I've got a competition in me. Some of these guys like Michael Jordan, he had a competition in him, and
Yes.
like a mad craziness. And I'm sure that like some of these guys sort of possess that. Otani doesn't necessarily strike me as a guy like that in the same way that like Tadej Pogacar doesn't really strike you. He seems like more like he's just kind of going out there to do it for fun.
I think that's a lot of the cultural differences of, the U.S. sports scene versus the international sports scene. Because, Otani comes from a culture that is much more reserved in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which also makes it that much better to watch him do it.
Yep. Well, he's going to the World Series, and who knows, man? Like, sky's the limit. The Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani are clearly on great form right now.
They definitely are. They definitely are.
So, yeah. Well, we will leave it right there. That's all for this week. Join us next week for part 1 of our big end of season award show. We will each be naming our personal podiums across 7 categories, including best rider, team, one-day race, stage race, storyline moment, and my personal favorite, team kit. We will start with the women next week, and we'll do the men the following week. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride on the Team Bus. Ale!
The Team Bus is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!